welcome back to Demigod Debut. I'm Mal, Annabeth Chase Defender and longtime Percy Jackson fan.
And I'm Julie, Selena Beauregard super fan.
Love.
I love her.
Oh my god, incredible. I love this for you. And this is a podcast where Julie reads Battle of the Labyrinth for the first time, and I really enjoy yapping about it. Emphasis on the yapping, because I was looking at, I sent you a picture of our audio tracks for the last episode, and I was like, dear God, I talked about 5 times as much as you did. But that's okay, because I've had 15 years to ruminate on this book, and at the time we sit down to record, you've had maybe hours to ruminate upon the chapters. Yep. So
yeah, that's about right.
So, short and sweet, your thoughts?
Not a skip on the album. I have been listening to it top to bottom since it came out, on the way to work, at work, on the way home from work, at the gym, on my hot girl walks. If I'm not in the top 0.0001% of Sabrina's listeners, I will be shocked.
Well, I just found out this weekend that you can be in the top 0% of an artist's listeners because Bella was top 0% of Bleacher's listeners in 2022.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so if you are not the top listener of Sabrina Carpenter, throw the whole thing away.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Stop the count.
Yes, stop the count. The selection was stolen from me. We will get to the bottom of this. Mike Pence, you have the power. You can do the right thing.
Lord. Okay. So I know I texted you about looking at Short and Sweet through a Percy Jackson lens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have thoughts? Because I have thoughts on Short and Sweet.
Not for every song.
Oh, no, me neither.
But a few of them stood out to me. One, actually, a few of them stood out to me as Annabeth having the crush on Luke.
Yes. Okay, that was my thoughts too.
Lie to Girls. Lie to Girls feels very okay, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because I really like you, even though I know I shouldn't.
Absolutely.
What else? Dumb and Poetic a little bit. I love Dumb and Poetic, by the way. Oh my god. I can't pick top 5, but a little bit. Not as much as Lie to Girls.
I feel a little bit like Please, Please, Please is kind of an Annabeth Luke song.
Yes.
Yeah, it's giving big Annabeth Luke vibes, this album, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of as a joke, I was like, well, Grover is espresso with the way that he was drinking coffee to try to find Pan, but that's just,
I thought he was a little bit Juno because he's a little into the girlies.
That's true.
So yeah. I think it's funny he would have the ovulation song. Because that song is...
Yeah.
I need to get into the Good Graces. I love Good Graces.
I like Good Graces. I feel like Good Graces is a Percy song to me.
Because
I think about the way that he switched it up immediately, the second Luke betrayed him. They were friends, and then all of a sudden he was like, no more. That man is dead to me.
Yeah, you gotta say my Good Graces. He's very loyal.
He is. Okay, so
a lot of cute Annabeth Percy moments these 2 chapters.
I know. Oh my god.
I was middle school Julie would have loved this. This little romance going on.
Oh, and middle school me did. Yes. And also adult me. Honestly, I was just I was sitting here kicking my feet and giggling. I was like, look at them.
I kind of love it.
Okay, so chapter 3, we play tag with scorpions. What did you think about the scorpion level of these chapters? I know you were worried about the scorpions.
They weren't as descriptive as I was, fearing. I'm still picturing the big scorpions in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but they didn't get gross with it, which I'm very thankful. Please do not be very specific when describing bugs. By the way, right on this wall this morning when I'm getting ready for work, huge millipede. Huge, huge. Not a tiny wimpy one, huge. I see it in the vanity mirror as I'm doing my makeup, and I'm like, oh my god, this thing is zipping across. Huge.
Horrifying.
Huge. And I was like, oh. Anyway, yeah, that was fine.
All right. So our chapter 3 starts at breakfast. They also talk about some commotion that happened the night before with a Draken outside of camp until Lee Fletcher and some Apollo campers shot it with arrows. And if you are wondering if you should know Lee Fletcher, no, you should not. This is literally the first time that this man has ever been mentioned.
Answered one of my questions, yes.
Yes. Rick really got to the fourth book and was like, oh no, I haven't named enough campers, and just like started dropping them. And so they, kind of reiterate that Luke is planning an attack on camp. Percy says that they don't know how or why or when this is happening, but it could not come at a worse time because attendance is down and they've only got like 80 campers, which, is a very small number for a child army. But then I was also thinking, like, okay, with the number of named campers that we have, like, we don't know very many of that 80. Like,
Yeah.
we know Percy, Annabeth, Clarice, the Stoll brothers, Beckendorf, Selena, and now Lee Fletcher. Like, that's 8 people.
Yeah. 10%? 10, is that 10%? I can't do math.
That's 10%. Wow, math!
STEM girly.
I, too, am a woman in STEM. Shenanigans, tomfoolery, escapades, mischief.
I love that.
I learned that this weekend. Also, I guess, if we count the 2 campers that were mentioned in chapter 4, I mean, I know we're not there yet, but like if you count Chris and Malcolm, I guess we know 10 people. So that's a little bit more. That's like, what, like 12%?
Almost.
And then like do Grover and Tyson count as campers? So like really there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
But we still don't know majority.
Yeah. And then I was trying to think, and I just like started listing off campers just in my head, even people that we haven't met and people who like would not be at camp at this time. And I could only come up with like 24 named campers. So there really are a lot of people just existing in this world that we have no idea about. Like, you could create any original character you wanted and just be like, this is Jeff. He's been here the whole time. And it could be true.
We'll never know. We could be campers. We could be named campers. We can make it happen.
We could become campers. I'm actually camper number 67, and I was actually there the whole time, just chilling.
You should make Camp Halfway shirts with like your last name on it. That'd be fun.
Like a jersey? Like my name on the back?
Yeah. Well, some people do that for like summer camps. Like they do it for like kids here when we have training camps. They'll get like t-shirts for like the lacrosse camp or something and then put their names on the back.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Ooh, do we think that the camp shirts would have their names on them?
I feel like they should. That'd be fun.
I mean, at the very least, you would have to write your name in the camp shirt when you got it, because there's got to be so many of them out there, and your stuff would get so mixed up.
That's a lot of kids' names to learn, too.
That is true. No wonder Mr. D can't ever remember anyone's name.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. We'll give it to him.
I also wouldn't be able to remember 80 kids' names.
No, it took me like 3 days to remember the new girl's name. I'm like, what is her name? And it was in my like Outlook calendar and I could have just looked it up, but I was like, I don't remember what her name is.
Names are hard. And also, like, you can't care about all 80 campers. Just be like Percy and care about the like 4 people that he cares about, and that's it. That's all you need.
Fair.
But also, what do you think those other just unnamed campers who are just kind of existing think of Percy? Like, are they like jealous that he gets all the quests?
Oh, here's this kid again.
Or do you think they're like, Percy's got it, like, we're gonna keep canoeing?
He's got to be at some point kind of popular, I feel like, because didn't he get like a standing ovation or something when he came back from the first quest or something? Or am I just making that up in my head?
He did, but then he was not popular again in the second one because he brought Tyson, and then he was...
I am not here for any Tyson hate, by the way. Will not tolerate
absolutely not
any Tyson hatred.
Tyson is incredibly important to me, so jot that down. Anyway, I guess speaking of Tyson, still does not like Grover because Chiron like brings Grover over to their breakfast table and that makes Tyson immediately leave. And Grover's like, Chiron wants you to convince me. And then Annabeth comes to join them and she's like, this is about the labyrinth. But this does not register for Percy because he's all like, Annabeth is right next to me. She's right next to me. And Also, like, everyone is looking over at them and whispering, and, like, I know that the Camp Half-Blood betting pool about when these two are gonna get together is going
Yes.
crazy
Yeah.
in these chapters.
They're like the odds, like the
Crazy.
payouts, crazy. They have their own little FanDuel apps, I swear.
They're like, Annabeth not really sneaking. I mean, she does it, like, in plain sight. Annabeth breaking the rules to, like, go over and sit by Percy at breakfast, like,
Yeah.
by the end of the summer. By the end of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my money would be on, actually. You know, it's also funny that Mr. I've been expelled from, like, 7 schools at this point is like, but Annabeth,
Yeah.
the rules. You can't switch tables.
Like, come on, Percy.
Also, like, stupid rule.
Yeah.
It's a stupid rule. They should be allowed to sit with their friends at meal. Like, when Tyson's not there, Percy's just to eat by himself. Why are we punishing Percy?
Also, was Tyson eating all by himself the whole time before Percy got there?
Oh my gosh. How long was Tyson there this summer before Percy got there?
I don't know.
How long were they making Tyson eat by himself?
It's so rude.
You know, I can excuse this camp essentially training child soldiers, but I draw the line at them making some of the kids eat alone.
Exactly.
That's too far.
I'd eat with Tyson.
The soldiers in my child army get to sit with their friends.
Yeah. They get to partner up with their friends and they get to eat with their friends.
Exactly. Just because they have to, like, fight a war now doesn't mean that they can't be social. Like, they're still kids.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't like Quintus. He's rankling me. I don't know if that's a word.
I don't know.
Just gonna pretend it is.
You know, I'm a big fan of the fact that even though the next chapter is the one that's called Annabeth Breaks the Rules, this one, she also breaks the rules.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think it's kind of funny because she's, you know, the quote unquote smart one. She's got her, like, goody two shoes vibe, like, right up until she's like, these rules do not serve my plan, and we can't have that. Because, like, you know, she's also the one who convinces Percy to sneak away from camp. In the second book, he's very like, we're gonna get expelled. And she's like, there would be no camp for us to come back to if we don't do this. So, like,
Come on. Yeah.
yeah. So the point of her breakfast rule breaking is to come and tell him that she and Clarice have been working on investigating the labyrinth. And I'm a big fan of the way that Percy goes, ah, yes, the maze with the Minotaur. I'm so familiar with how things work in this world now. Yes, so the maze must now be under some building. And Annabeth is like, no, you idiot. It's huge. Like, it wouldn't even fit under a city. Like, as soon as he thinks he knows what's up, he does not.
Annabeth's like, no. Don't be stupid, Percy.
Annabeth's like, good try. No. Still no.
Still have so much to learn, my friend.
And so basically the labyrinth, like, connects everything underground, and you can use it to get anywhere if you figure out how to navigate it. I do want to know, like, is it just under America, or could you use the labyrinth to, like, get to other countries? Because it says it connects, like, Western cities, but are we just considering the West as, like, America? Or
That's so not true, though. Yeah, it'd be Europe.
yeah, I'm like, could you walk to London from?
Now, the question is, would you consider Russia part of the West?
I don't know.
That's a big geopolitical question, my friend.
I'm
I'm
here to talk about a children's book, not geopolitical issues.
Like, don't make me do this. I'm not doing any more analysis. I'd want to walk to Paris.
Ooh.
I would do that.
I thought you didn't love Paris when we went.
I had more fun in London, but I love Paris as a city. The history is just better.
Okay. Yeah, I also had more fun in London, but I was kind of like, I can take or leave Paris.
Paris is hard because I don't speak French, so I felt like I didn't get as much out of it.
Makes
I
sense.
feel like I would have gotten more out of it if I could speak French, which is why we have to go to Spain because I can speak Spanish.
Sold. Let's go to Spain.
Anyway, back to the book.
Anyway, Labyrinth makes everything underground. Oh, it seems like they have this theory that Grover can use the labyrinth to find Han, and Grover brings up someone who was apparently driven insane in the labyrinth, which, you know, we later find out is Chris Rodriguez.
I don't remember him.
That is okay. His name is mentioned literally once.
Okay.
They're just, like, on the deck of the Princess Andromeda, and they're like, oh, I think that was Chris Rodriguez.
Oh.
From the Hermes cabin. And it's like, okay, that's the first time he's mentioned. Yeah. But, okay, Miracle of Miracles, when Percy's like, wait, what? There's no, I'll tell you later. There's no treating him like an idiot. Like, they actually answer his question. Like, that's how you know that this is serious. Like, straight answers from Annabeth.
Yeah, they're not fucking with him.
Yeah. Straight answers in chapter 3 from Annabeth. Wild. God, Percy is so just diabolically down bad. I wrote down this quote. Here it is. Despite how serious she was acting, I was happy she wasn't mad at me anymore, and I kind of liked the fact that she'd broken the rules to come sit by me. Like,
Oh my god.
focus. Please, Perseus. This is serious.
Yeah. People are dying.
Top 10 unhinged lover boy Percy moments. She's out here like talking about how some guy was driven insane in the maze and like people have died, and he's like, Annabeth is here. She's sitting by me.
Giggling like a schoolgirl.
Like, just absolutely pathetic. Perseus, stand up.
Down bad crying in the gym.
Down bad crying in the gym. So the tea is as follows for what Annabeth shares. Clarice wasn't there in the last book because she was on this secret mission, which was scouting the labyrinth. On that mission, she found Chris Rodriguez. Turns out Chris had appeared near her mom's house, kind of out of his mind, babbling about string, and the only info that they got from him is that Luke's men have been exploring the labyrinth. I also appreciate the way that Annabeth is like, we started this mission because, like, we don't know what Luke wants with the labyrinth, and then, like, they got me involved because I just really think that the labyrinth is neat, and she's, like, ready to go off about the architecture. Like, she's just an eccentric academic like her father.
Mm-hmm.
I love her.
Apple does not fall far from the tree there.
It does not. She's like, this maze that has killed people and has driven others insane.
Fascinating.
I think it's so neat. Like, and then, you know, lots of other little information things. Luke is probably looking for Ariadne's string to help navigate the maze, and, you know, Pan is maybe somewhere in the labyrinth, and that might be why no one has been able to find him. Not really sure. And then Annabeth's time to break the rules is kind of up because Quintus starts giving her a look, so she goes back to her own table. And then the last thing I want to point out is, like, Percy makes weird eye contact with Quintus, and he just, like, nods at him and then returns to cutting his sausage with a dagger. That's the coolest thing I've ever read.
It's kind of some psycho shit, and I'm here for it.
It is. Like, this man is suspicious as hell, but dang, he's cool.
Kind of a badass.
Oh, then Percy goes to the stables to visit his friend Blackjack. His friend, the horse. And I don't really know that Percy has treated Blackjack like a friend. I mean, I'm not going to get on my whole soapbox again about the treatment of Blackjack, but, you know, we've had this conversation before. Percy does get some points, though, for bringing Blackjack some sugar cubes, because that reminded me of my Hunger Games days when I used to just, like, eat sugar cubes by the handful to be like Finnick Odair.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you have a Hunger Games phase? Did you read the Hunger Games?
A few of, like, the first two, maybe? I don't remember them at all, really.
Well, you would have gotten to the sugar cube part. When Katniss, like, first meets Finnick, he offers her a sugar cube. And so it was, like, a thing to have sugar cubes. When I read the Hunger Games, I'm gonna be so real, I did not understand the point. I was just like, I'm, like, 13. I think this is kind of fun. And now I look back on that and I'm like, oh, because I reread those a couple summers ago and I was like, oh, this was, like, dark. I was not picking up on the themes. I was just there to snack on sugar cubes.
I love it.
You know, that's who I am. So, kind of, to conclude the little it's just like a little small cameo from Blackjack. Just kind of to remind the people, like, Blackjack's here, he exists.
He does not want to go underground.
He does not want to go underground. And, you know, we end with a very classic, I had a feeling that I wasn't going to see Blackjack for a very long time. Like,
lay it on thicker, Rick.
There's one of these in, like, every book. Every book. Like, sometimes the foreshadowing is really good, and other times it's that.
It's gonna hit you. He's gonna hit you in the face with it.
I mean, it's like book for children, but also, like,
moron children? Like, come on.
Yeah. And then it's time for our, you know, little game with the scorpions. And so our goal is to collect golden laurels that are in packages tied to the back of scorpions. Who came up with this game?
A psychopath.
So someone didn't think through the logistics here.
One, it's gotta be a giant scorpion, right? Like, they have to be big.
Yeah. I feel like they gotta be huge.
Ugh. Don't like it.
They're, like, assigned a partner to work with. And feels like some of these pairs were chosen to create like maximum drama, like Tyson and Grover, and then others are just like Chiron and Quintus sitting around being like, okay, who has a crush on who? Perfect, put them together.
Is that something you would do as a teacher?
No,
No.
because people who have a crush on each other tend to talk a lot more, and I'm like, that's not what we're here for.
It's like, shut up.
You can do that on your own time.
I love it.
Yes, but you know, we get a nice Selena Beckendorf pairing. We get a nice
Yeah.
Percy Annabeth pairing. And I love that when they hear their partners, he goes, nice, and like grins at her, and she just goes, your armor is crooked. As if she isn't as delighted as he is.
He gives Major like your fly is down, like type thing. Like you would say, flies down. It's so funny.
He's like, yay, we're partners. And she's like, well, you look like an idiot.
Yeah. How can I embarrass you real quick?
But I'm also someone who sometimes when I have a crush on someone, I get a little mean because I don't know what to do.
You do the negging thing, do you?
A little bit.
I do that too.
There was this girl in college, like, and I didn't even really know what we were doing. But looking back on it now, I'm like, oh, we were flirting because it was just like, we were just being mean and trying to embarrass each other, but in like a fun, teasy way. I don't know. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's what that was. Okay, fine. So I am not better than Annabeth Chase, basically. But why would I want to be? She's great.
Yeah.
So, you know, they go to the woods, they do their little thing. Percy tells Annabeth about his weird iris message of Nico. Like, there's really a lot of exchange of information here. Like, we are not at the point where we are hiding anything from each other anymore. Like, they are telling each other things, and I'm here for it.
Full disclosure, finally.
And Percy tells her, like, how the ghost Nico was talking to mentioned a maze. And Annabeth is like, oh, so this means we really have to figure out the labyrinth. And they run into Juniper, who has really terrible timing because she's like, hey, are you guys busy? And Percy's like, yeah, just trying not to die. But Annabeth, of all people, is like, no, we're not busy. What's wrong?
A girl's girl.
This is the girl who threw Percy to the wolves in their first game of Capture the Flag. Like, that was like his second day of camp.
She's besties with Juniper.
She's like not competitive about this game at all.
Bigger fish to fry.
She's really growing up. She's more focused on the task at hand, and we love that for her. Yeah, Juniper wants to complain about Grover and try to convince him to not go into the labyrinth. And then somehow they're surrounded by 3 out of the 6 scorpions. Julie's worst nightmare.
Oh god. I would kill myself. Sorry. That's how I'd get out of it. Just boop.
Well, they don't do that. They instead slip into a crack in the boulders, end up in this dark corridor, and the entrance that they came in has now disappeared, and that freaks out Annabeth enough to hold Percy's hand. I have to read it from the book because here's the quote. Annabeth's hand slipped into mine. Under different circumstances, I would have been embarrassed, but here in the dark, I was glad to know where she was. It was about the only thing I was sure of. The only thing he was sure of. But then I was like, this seems familiar. And I realized that the why it seems familiar is because there's a very similar quote in The Lightning Thief, like when they're on Charon's ferry across the Styx in the underworld. So he says in that book, Annabeth grabbed a hold of my hand. Under normal circumstances, this would have embarrassed me, but I understood how she felt. She wanted reassurance that someone else on this boat was alive. So that's twice that he's like, Annabeth grabbed my hand.
It's just reusing material.
A little bit. Under normal circumstances, I would have been embarrassed. But right now in this moment, I'm like, yes, hold my hand, Annabeth.
It would have given me claustrophobia. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, don't hold your hand in a scary situation. Jotting that down.
No, not the hand holding part, the being swallowed by boulders thing. The hand holding might help. I'm not sure. But I think I would have a panic attack.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like, if the exit disappeared, I'd be freaking out, for sure.
Yeah.
My TikTok has started showing me videos of cave divers who have gotten stuck in caves and, like, died.
No.
And
No.
Every single time, it's horrific, and I cannot finish the video because like sometimes you're just scrolling and you get like in a little rabbit hole. Yeah, no, I've never been able to get down that particular rabbit hole, but it keeps showing me them, and it's awful. It's awful. I hate it.
I hate it.
Terrible.
I don't want to know. Thank you. It's better off not knowing.
Absolutely no creepy caves for me. So Annabeth starts looking for the Mark of Daedalus. to try to get out, and Percy has no idea what she's talking about, but he should have been more focused on what she was saying at breakfast rather than how close she was sitting to him, because she mentioned Daedalus 3 times in that conversation. He could have put the pieces together. Wait, do you know anything about Daedalus other than like what's said in the book?
I might be confusing him with someone else. He's not. Is he Icarus's father?
He is.
I know that, and I know a little bit about the labyrinth. There's like a King Minos or something, and like would sacrifice like young people to the Minotaur in the labyrinth. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the extent of my knowledge.
Look at you, Miss I don't know anything. Like, you do know things.
I think I remember liking that myth when we briefly talked about them, but the Icarus story, and then I delved a little deeper.
It's a fun one. Then, okay, the most fun part of this for me is that when they come out, everyone's like, you guys have been gone for like an hour, even though it was only like a minute for them. Once again, the gossip circles, the betting ring, like going crazy. What do you mean Percy and Annabeth disappeared for an hour? Everyone's favorite will they won't they couple at camp snuck off?
Yeah, they got sucked in by the ground. Yeah, I'm sure. Right.
Yeah. What were you doing in the cave, Percy and Annabeth? This is a lot for camp to take in one day. Like, first you had the breakfast meeting, and then now they're sneaking off into caves. I know what we're all thinking. But this, however, is in fact serious, because Clarice immediately is like, you found it, didn't you? And it turns out to be an entrance to the labyrinth that Luke could use as an invasion route straight into camp. Dun dun dun.
That was a good chapter.
It was a good chapter. I got kind of down a rabbit hole because of, who I am as a person, comparing chapter 3s from this book versus like the last 3, because this is so fast. Like, we have jumped right into the action. Like, chapter 3 of The Lightning Thief is Grover unexpectedly loses his pants. So that's like where Percy comes home after getting expelled and like goes to the beach with his mom, and Grover shows up and is like, we have to go because it's chasing me. Like, we're not even to camp yet. We haven't met Annabeth. Like, nothing has happened by chapter 3 of The Lightning Thief other than him, like, killing Mrs. Dodds on the field trip. And then chapter 3 of The Sea of Monsters, they hail the taxi of eternal torment, just like where Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson take the Grey Sisters cab to camp.
Oh,
yeah. They do give Percy, like, the coordinates for the thing that he's looking for, but, like, he doesn't know what that thing is yet. He doesn't even know that Thalia's tree is poisoned, because like he has not been to camp. We also don't know Tyson is a Cyclops or that he's a son of, like, we don't know anything. And then chapter 3 of The Titan's Curse, Bianca D'Angelo makes a choice, and all that's really happened up till that point is like Annabeth is gone, so that's only half of our main problem, because like Artemis hasn't been kidnapped yet. Artemis is right there. So once again, we're not even to camp yet, but like we've been at camp for like a chapter and a half. Here we're doing it.
Hitting the ground running.
Or maybe there's just even more to come. Who knows? Do you have anything else on this one?
I enjoyed it. It was a good chapter. Hated the scorpions expectedly. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you were saying that, I was like, hopefully it will be an acceptable level of scorpion for her, because it's like, it's very minimal scorpion.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Like, they're there, but it's like, it's not.
Like, it could have been worse.
It's not horror. It's not the main point of the chapter.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
So then, chapter 4, Annabeth breaks the rules for the second time, because she was already breaking the rules. So Chiron's like, well, we'll talk about the labyrinth in the morning. Like, what a choice. So then Percy has a dream about Daedalus, and in this dream, Daedalus gets like dragged into a room by some guards. There's a king who says he helped the Athenians slay the Minotaur, turned his daughter against him. So now he's going to keep Daedalus in the maze to make inventions and essentially like be the maze's new monster. And the king threatens his son, saying that if Daedalus steps out of line, his son's going to be punished. And I gotta say, I'm a fan of when Percy has these kind of Greek myth dreams, because he started kind of having them last book when he was like Hercules interacting with Zoe. So like, it's interesting that he's not a part of this one. He's just kind of an outside observer. And then it's also interesting that they tell us that like this is Daedalus right away, because they didn't tell us it was Hercules for like a long time in the other one. So I don't know, just an interesting change.
Yeah.
To me. Then we go off to War Council, and every camper that we know the name of is here. I'm like, is this all the people that we are including? Or are there other people at this War Council that Percy just doesn't name for us? Because there's not a representative from like every cabin that is inhabited. Because we need a head counselor for Demeter, and we also need representative from the Dionysus cabin, because like Dionysus has kids. Why are these cabins not represented? Why don't they get a say? Maybe they're just not relevant to Percy, and so he just didn't mention them. Maybe they're there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, who's to say, but I was like, odd.
Interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, Annabeth says that Luke must have known about the Labyrinth interest because he knew everything about camp. And Percy's like, I hate that she seems like proud of him, even though like he's evil.
I love that little impression. Oh my god. Oh man. Annabeth really is just a teen girl with a crush when it comes to Luke. Still almost. It's kind of I don't like it.
Girl, we gotta get over this.
Girl, he's evil. But I mean, you ever have your friend date someone and like break up and you're like, okay, get over it. Like he was a piece of shit.
Like he was the worst. Listen, we've all had bad taste, so I can't judge her too harshly, but also
Fair.
I am gonna judge her a little bit. And I'm gonna judge Juniper a little bit because like this little interaction she has like between her and Grover is very funny when Juniper's like, yeah, I definitely saw Luke at the Labyrinth interest, but I didn't think too much of it because I just like I don't like caves. And Grover's like, she has good taste. And then she's like, and I probably wouldn't have even noticed at all, but like it was Luke. Like
Luke was the hottie at camp. What can we say?
he's literally just a blonde man.
Yeah, this was early 2000s. Like blonde men, they kind of ruled the world a little bit. Jesse McCartney, it was
Yeah.
their time.
You hate to see it. You really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
Every girl has to have a crush on Luke a little bit. It's Luke. They kind of rehash some of the things that we've already sort of talked about in this meeting, I guess, to get everybody up to speed. But Luke can use this labyrinth entrance to invade camp. He's sending scouts into the maze, including Chris Rodriguez, who they found, and Annabeth also says that Luke is probably looking for Daedalus's workshop so that he can convince Daedalus to help him navigate the maze. And you may be like Beckendorf, wondering, whoa, wouldn't Daedalus be dead? He lived thousands of years ago. Who can say? Because, Chiron also lived thousands of years ago, and he's still here. And Chiron's talking about how there are some disturbing rumors about Daedalus, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Also, somebody says that they should destroy the entrance, but they can't get rid of it because Clarice apparently used a wrecking ball to demolish a whole building in Phoenix, and it did not destroy the labyrinth entrance. And this is my dream. I would love to take a wrecking ball to a building. So like if anyone knows of any wrecking ball opportunities, please send them my way.
Oh my god.
It's my dream job.
You're born to be a construction. It's our job.
I was not born to build things. I was born to tear them apart.
Yeah, the demolition guys. They gotta destroy stuff before they build it back up again.
So true.
You're on the demo team.
Let me at it. Let me wreck a building. So then, Percy and Annabeth have sort of an argument. We're going from starting rumors that we ran off to get some alone time during Scorpion Tag to like fighting in front of everyone. I love teenage relationships.
It's not beating the secretly dating rumors. That feels like a very datey thing to do.
That is true.
We're gonna argue in front of everyone.
And also it's the way that it goes, like Percy's kind of like, this is impossible, and Annabeth's like, yeah, but I know the labyrinth better than anybody. And Percy's like, yeah, from reading about it. And she's like, and? He's like, that's not enough. And she's like, are you gonna help me or not? Like, this is just classic lovers quarrel, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm kind of with Percy. Reading about something is not the same as actually doing it.
No. Some things you can learn from reading, but other things, no.
Like, it might just be the former education major in me. But, like, I spent 3.5 years studying how to teach, only to get, like, absolutely wrecked by my first year of teaching because I had no idea about anything. So it's like, it's not the same as actually doing it, just reading about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, Annabeth probably is the most qualified for this task. Like, I mean, I guess it's better to have someone who's read about it than, like, somebody who knows nothing. I don't know. So then Clarice says that Annabeth should lead the quest. And Annabeth says that, you've done as much as I have, like you should come along too. And Clarice says, absolutely not. I'm not going back in there.
Mhm.
And then Travis Stoll starts making fun of her for being scared because he's a jerk.
He's a little bitch.
How many quests have you been on, Travis?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Sit down.
Men.
And something that's kind of interesting is that Percy points out that when, the idea is kind of thrown out that Annabeth should, lead this quest, go into the labyrinth, Quintus is the only one who, doesn't nod in agreement. He just kind of, crosses his arms and stares at the table. Interesting. And then Annabeth goes to the Oracle, which Percy says is harder than visiting the Oracle himself. We get it, Percy. You love her. And then while he waits, Juniper kind of finds him and it tells him that Luke wasn't the only one that she saw lurking around the labyrinth entrance, because apparently Quintus was as well. Juniper says he shouldn't trust him, and also once again asks him to tell Grover not to go because it's too dangerous. And I love that the thought process for Percy here is, 1, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this information. 2, I need to tell Annabeth. 3, why is she taking so long? 4, I'm gonna sneak into the big house to check on Annabeth. It's just, the second he's presented with new information, he's like, Annabeth, I need to tell Annabeth. Annabeth needs to know this. It's like his version of, I need to find an adult, I need to tell a trusted adult.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we get it. You love her.
He's so obvious. So obvious.
He is. It's so fun. It's so fun. This dynamic is so good. I love it so much. So then, this chapter could also be called Percy Breaks the Rules, because he's like, I know it's against the rules, but I'm sneaking into the big house. But he does not find Annabeth, because he gets distracted by sobbing coming from the basement. And he finds Clarice and Chris Rodriguez. And Clarice clearly really cares about him. And even Percy's like, I've never heard Clarice be nice to someone like this. And Chris is babbling about skulls and calling Clarice Mary, then makes eye contact with Percy and goes, the son of Poseidon, he's horrible, which, rude. But also Percy gets the impression that Chris is not talking about him. Interesting. And you gotta feel for Clarice at least a little here.
Yeah, I guess. So I don't like her.
That's fine. But you can feel kind of sad for her.
I have compassion. I have empathy, even for bad people.
That's fine.
For bullies. I do want to know what happened to her in the labyrinth.
I do too.
You know what happened.
I don't know what happened to Clarice in the labyrinth because she doesn't say. She's not telling Percy that information.
Oh, so we'll never know.
Unless Rick Riordan decides to give us Clarice.
Someone get on the fanfic.
Maybe that exists. I'm gonna hit up AO3 after this. Well, then Annabeth returns from her trip to the Oracle. Immediately she sits down and stares at the floor. So that
not great.
Then she makes some intense eye contact with Percy and he's like, I can't tell if she's terrified or if she's trying to warn me. Probably it's both. Just the way that Percy says, here's a quote. After what I had seen with Chris Rodriguez, I didn't even want to think about Annabeth descending into that weird maze again. And I just love that his first thought isn't about himself. He's not like, I don't want to go into the maze again. Because, let's be real. Percy joining her on this quest is kind of a given. But, the fact that his concern is not, I'm scared to go into, it's I don't want to think about Annabeth going back into there. He's such a lover boy, it makes me sick.
He is.
And then Annabeth's prophecy. We've arrived. Here it goes. So the lines that she initially offers are, you shall delve in the darkness of the endless maze, the dead, the traitor, and the lost one raise. You shall rise or fall by the ghost king's hand, the child of Athena's final stand. And she kind of refuses to say the final 2 lines until Chiron pushes her. She doesn't give us the last one, but the second to last line is, destroy with the hero's final breath. I gotta say, being reminded of this prophecy, I did have to stand up and take a lap around my living room because this one, gets me every time. Child of Athena's final stand, hero's final breath. The fact that she won't even talk about the last line. Stressed. And then, she of course asks Percy to come. Duh. He agrees. Duh. Grover is not stressed by this prophecy because he is convinced that the lost one means Pan, so he's ready to go. And then in her titular breaking of the rules, Annabeth also asks Tyson to come.
Tyson!
yes, but also Chiron's like, maybe don't, because this would be breaking the ancient laws. A hero is only allowed 2 companions. And it does bring up the fact that 5 people went on the quest to rescue Artemis last winter, and only 3 came back. So,
Not great.
not great. And the thing that gets me, and maybe this is a spoiler, or maybe I'm forgetting something, could be, but Annabeth never actually says why she is so insistent on taking all 3 of them. Like, unless I'm forgetting, but I don't think that I am. And like, I don't think that she's wrong in saying that she needs all of them. Like, I feel like they each bring a very unique thing to the group, but I feel like Annabeth typically has a lot of respect for the kind of mythical rules and like the way this world works. And so it's very interesting that she
is willing to break them.
Yeah, that she would like want to take someone else. So it's like either Percy's kind of disregard has rubbed off on her, or there was like something to suggest to her that
She needs all of them.
she needed to take all of them. And then it kind of made me wonder, like, is it maybe something in the way that the prophecy was like presented to her? Because the green smoke like forms shapes and stuff of people. Like it was Gabe and his like poker buddies for Percy's prophecy, and then it was Artemis in chains for Zoe's. So like, what did Annabeth's green smoke make? Did that tell her she needed to take all 4 of them? Was it just like the combination of the prophecy as a whole that she was like, I need all of them? I don't know. I have questions and I want to know. Like, I want to be in Annabeth's head so bad here. I need for Rick to pull a Stephanie Meyer and give me Annabeth POV Battle of the Labyrinth the way that like Stephanie Meyer did Edward's point of view of Twilight.
I did not know that.
Yes. But also I don't know if I trust him to do it right. He does not know her like I do, and I stand by that. But like, God, I want to know what she's thinking. Yeah. So then our little council ends, and Quintus pulls Percy aside to say that he doesn't really love the idea of any of them going into the labyrinth.
Yeah.
And he gives Percy this like dog whistle that he can use to call Mrs. O'Leary for help. But Percy can only get one use out of this. And Percy's like, I feel kind of bad for not trusting him, but also, you know who else gave me a gift before my first quest?
Yeah.
Luke. And those shoes were designed to drag me to Tartarus. So
maybe be a little apprehensive.
Yeah, so can we trust the whistle? That's for me to know and for you to find out later.
I don't trust him.
So you've said.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Yeah. So then Percy leaves this kind of weird interaction and goes off to find Annabeth and ends up in the Athena cabin, which sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Like living in a cool old library.
Yeah.
Like there's books everywhere. There's like old maps. Feels like a lot of productivity happening in this cabin. And Annabeth is doing some last minute cramming for her test that is tomorrow. And honestly, you know, she should know that that's not the best study strategy, but it's fine. She's, you know, pretty unsure, kind of wonders if she shouldn't have asked them to come with her, but Percy reassures her, and he asks about the last line of the prophecy, and she holds out her arms for a hug, like the poor girl just wants to be held.
Aww.
And I love that Percy's like, when I hugged her, butterflies started turning my stomach into a mosh pit. Like, what a teenage boy thing to say. Thank you, Percy.
Yeah.
Then he's like, I was very aware of every detail in the room. And then like 2 out of the 3 of the details are just about Annabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that her hair smells like lemons and she's kind of shaking. But he also does say that he feels like he could read any book on the shelves. So like Annabeth's hugs overpower his dyslexia too, apparently. But then their moment is ruined by Malcolm coming in. And this is, you know, another character who has never been mentioned before. And here he is. And for why? Go away, Malcolm. We were doing something here. But honestly, might be worth it for the way that Percy just like immediately steps away from her and goes, we were just looking at maps.
Mm-hmm.
Teenagers. He's so stupid.
I love it. So funny.
And then like Annabeth has to get ready for archery, so Percy like goes to leave and asks again about the last line of the prophecy and whether it ends with the word death, since that would rhyme with breath. And Annabeth just tells him he better go. And so Percy has this horrible feeling that one of them is going to die on this quest. And like, you know, to be fair, not much rhymes with breath. So like we could also go, Breaking Bad and make some meth, or like meet someone named Beth. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else that rhymes with breath.
I do like the idea of a Breaking Bad crossover, but I don't think it's very likely.
Be a very edgy children's book.
Yeah. Yeah, what?
And once again, we're moving very fast here. So I also looked at the other books to see like when we got prophecies, because this is like the prophecy in chapter 4.
Yeah.
And like we obviously don't know the whole thing, but like in Sea of Monsters, we didn't know the prophecy until the end. So, but like in The Lightning Thief, Percy gets his prophecy in chapter 9. Clarice goes to the Oracle in chapter 7. And then the Oracle crashes the Capture the Flag game in chapter 6. So like they're getting earlier and earlier, but like this is our earliest prophecy by far. The prophecies are also getting longer, which is another interesting trend. The first 2 are only 4 lines, but this one and the last one are 6. Just some interesting patterns. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've got. Do you have any thoughts on this prophecy? Any predictions?
Yes.
Yeah. I love a prophecy prediction.
All right. So first line, you shall delve in the darkness of the endless maze. Obvious, they're gonna go into the labyrinth.
Could be.
That one feels very self-explanatory. Unless we're gonna get a themed book. We're getting into fall. I love a corn maze. I don't think that's what they're referencing. That would be fun though. Then the dead, the traitor, and the lost one raise. I'm gonna say that's Bianca. I want to see a return of Bianca as the dead. The traitor is Luke, and the lost one, Nico. You shall rise or fall by the Ghost King's hand. I'm gonna say the Ghost King is Minos, however you say his name. I can't remember.
I actually don't know.
The child of Athena's last stand. I just wrote that can't be good.
Well, listen, we have at least 2 children of Athena now, so like could be Malcolm.
So Malcolm, we're killing you. We're sacrificing you, Malcolm. Sorry. It was nice meeting you, but you're out of here. Destroy with a hero's final breath. And so we know they can't kill off Percy because it's his series. But I did say if they kill Tyson, I'm killing myself. I just want to put that out here. That Tyson like sacrifices himself or something. I'm killing myself.
So, okay, it can't be Percy. You don't want it to be Tyson.
No.
And also,
no.
We're sacrificing Malcolm instead of Annabeth, so are you okay with Grover dying?
Sorry, Grover.
Oh my god.
I love Tyson more than I like Grover.
Interesting. I feel like I like them equally. I don't want either of them to die.
I would die for Tyson.
Okay. That's fair.
I know it's not that I want him to die.
It's just like of the options available, it's the best one.
Like if you're making me choose, I'm gonna save Tyson. Sorry. I love Tyson.
But then again, if we're raising the dead, someone could die and come back.
Much to consider.
I'm just saying things.
Yeah, I gotta read into what you say. Pack it away.
So now you're like, okay, so someone's gonna die and come back.
I'll forget in like 20 minutes. So
you're like a goldfish.
Exactly.
All right, so 2 more chapters next time, 5 and 6.
Yes.
Number 5 is Nico buys Happy Meals for the dead.
I don't really have, like, these titles give me nothing. It just made me hungry, I gotta be honest. I really just wanted a Happy Meal when I read this.
Nico should buy a Happy Meal for me.
Yeah, I was like, McDonald's, get your vegan chicken nuggets up and running. I want some chicken nuggets and some french fries.
Chapter 6 is we meet the god with 2 faces.
Again, you know me and my Greek mythology. I have no idea who that could be. Because is it literal or is it like is it like a Gemini? Are we talking about a Gemini god? Or are we like, this bitch is two-faced? Because that could be all of them. Because they're all two-faced. Let's be honest.
So you're like, this literally could be anybody because all the gods are fake as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a pretty good prediction. Anything else about these chapters?
I enjoyed them. I thought they were good.
I mean, this book is a banger. There's very few chapters that I am not like super excited to talk about.
I'm enjoying it so far.
There's just like good stuff in all of it. And you're so close to being able to watch my TikTok that I made this weekend.
Is that when you threw the book in the water?
Yes. I did throw Battle of the Labyrinth into the sea.
What chapter do I have to get to?
You have to read chapter 12.
Oh, that's still a while away. All right, I gotta go impulse cut my bangs and then go to
Wait.
gym.
You can't just drop that at the very end.
Well, no, I need to trim them. They're too long, and my friend is having a rough time at work and personally, so I'm like, I'm not gonna go bother her, but I'm like, maybe I could try to figure it out if I could follow her line. I just want them trimmed. They're too long. So we might try to do that tonight.
Oh my god.
This is not a good idea, but they're bothering me. They're too long.
Oh, I'm so scared for you.
Yeah, me too. I might chicken out, but I'm like, they've been bothering me for like 3 weeks.
This is your quest.
This is my quest. I might literally be calling her at like 2 a.m.
I need you to fix this.
Can you please? I have work tomorrow. Can you fix this?
Please let me know how this goes, because I'm scared for you.
I'm like, how hard can it be? Knowing I've cut my own bangs before and had a meltdown. They're too long. I can't.
I'm stressed for you.
How hard could it be?
Boys do it.
Boys do it all the time.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
And, we'll be back with chapters 5 and 6 on September the 19th. So that's... The bangs will have time to grow out before the next episode.
Yeah. God. I should have just hung up after that, and then you'd be like, I'd be getting a phone call. What are you doing?
What is wrong with you? Are you okay? This is a wellness check.
Yeah. You have to cry for help.
Well, you have to go make bad decisions.
Yes.
I have to go make dinner. Love you.
Love you too. Bye, bestie.
Bye. Enjoy your hairstyling.
Thank you. I'll send you an after pic if I actually do it.
Please. Hi. Don't fret, Julie did not in fact end up cutting her own bangs, but if you would like to experience more of our unhinged behavior, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at @DemigodDebutPod, and if you liked what you heard, please drop us a review wherever it is that you are listening. See you in 2 weeks for more Battle of the Labyrinth. Bye!